we are back. It's been a while. Anywho, I think I left off with them installing the dorms of the second day of UA. So I'm gonna go to Deku. So after his fight with Eraser, with Aizawa, the next day, All for One told him to go to this city. It's just another city, not as big as the one they're in. But anywho, the reason why All for One sent him there was because the people there were not as fearful as they once were of All for One and the League of Villains. So All for One kind of sent Deku over there to tell them we're still here, we're still watching, we will beat your ass, we will kill you if you try anything with us. That's basically what he did. So he did that for 10 days. He fought people, he killed people, he tortured people. He only killed 2 people over that 10 days. That's what All for One sent him off to do. So now we're cutting back to the second day of UA. We're going to go back over to them. So that's what Deku has been up to. Anywho, I'm trying to find where I left off. Okay, UA got the permission from the parents, and then all the classes moved into the dorms. And class was normal that day. This is the 3rd day, by the way. The 3rd day. So class was normal, and then Aizawa told the class that tomorrow we will be doing the hero versus villains training. The class was happy and, they were excited to do it, to finally fight each other. Because they didn't do the quirk exam, so they don't know how powerful each of them is, so it's going to be kind of exciting for them. Anywho, class goes on like normal. Class goes on like normal. The next day, they get in their hero costumes, and they go out to the fake city. Yeah, they go over there, getting ready, and then I want to say that everyone was in the same teams. It was Bakugo and Ida, but instead Uraka, Uraka was with, who should I make it? I didn't think this far ahead. I'm just gonna go with, God, who would she work with? I was gonna say she went with Froppy, okay? This is unscripted, so if this all comes out like shit, you know why now. Anywho, so those were everyone else was the same except for Uraka was with Froppy and Bakugo was still with Ida. Okay, so we're gonna cut back to Deku of that morning, the morning of the 3rd day of UA. So, he came back the night before. They put him in his cell, locked him in there. He went to sleep and stuff. Then when he woke up, the doctor's assistants, opened the door. Whenever he hears the door open or he hears a click, he immediately gets up. He learned that. Yeah, whenever he hears a click or a door open, he learned over the years whenever that happens that either he's going to get hurt, they're going to tell him something, or they're going to torture him. Yeah, they hurt him, they kick him, but whenever he didn't wake up immediately. And then sometimes if they were having a bad day, they would torture him and stuff. So that's the difference in that. So yeah, he he immediately got up and he sat up, but then he just looked over at the door. Then the doctor's assistant was all like, "The come with me. All for one wants to see you, or the boss wants to see you." So Deku gets up and goes with the assistant. The assistant leads him to the door, and then Deku just nods and opens the door. All for one sitting in there. And then All for one says, "I have a mission for you today." Then Deku was all like, "What is it?" And then All for one was all like, he said to sit down. Deku sat. And then All for one was all like, "So today I want you to do some recon because we want to attack UA and kill All Might." And then he just nods. Deku just nods. And then he's like, "What do I need to do recon on?" And then All for one was all like, "Okay, today I learned from somebody that they're having training today. Like, let's just say all the hero class has villain training. They're all just different ones. So yeah. So then he was all like, they're gonna do training, and then my phone was like, I want you to see if anyone is strong enough or powerful enough to put maybe possibility a dent into one of our plans to attack the USJ. And then Deku nods, says like, yes sir. And then our phone's like, okay, the first class that's gonna be going is class 1A. Then Deku was all like, okay. Again, he mostly just says okay and agrees to anything that they do or say. All for one said, okay, you're dismissed, you can leave. Deku gets up, gets out the door. The doctor's assistant was waiting there for him. By the way, All for One's room is soundproof, so he didn't hear any of that. He doesn't know what's going on. I just feel like I should mention that. Yeah. So he was right out there, and then Deku comes out. Strap him. He put the assistant brings Deku to the magical room where his brain gets fried and all that good stuff happens. Strap him in the chair, and then they start saying the words. Then he is brainwashed, just like that. And then they tell him what to do and everything, or what he has to do on that mission. So then they send him off, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna cut back to class 1A. I'm just gonna skip to, I want to say all the fights go like in canon, but then we're gonna go to Bakugo, Ida's fight. So Bakugo and Ida in this one, I'm gonna make them the heroes, then Uraka and Sue, I think that's her name. Uraka and Sue are the villains. Deku already watched already watched everyone else go, so like they were the last ones to go. After that, he had to go hop over. After he watches Class 1A, he has to go back and report to All for One. Yeah. So then, he only noted, possibly the dangerous ones were, Shoto, Kaminari maybe? Because he can electrocute many people at once. But he didn't know that he turns dumb after that. He only saw Kaminari use it like a little bit and he didn't turn dumb yet. So he knows down Kaminari. And then yeah, so he wrote down Kaminari, the sugar rush dude, Tokiyami. Momo. He put like Momo on the maybe side of it. So yeah. Who else? I'm trying to think. I think that's all I'm gonna put on there. Just trying to put more people than Shoto. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna put on the list. So he notes them down, and as he's watching, then he's waiting for the next fight to go on. So yeah, those are the 4 people on the list. Then the fight starts. Bakugo and Ida decide that Bakugo should blast up to the top of the roof and Ida should go down, like go through the front door. So that's what they're doing. Raka and Sue. What would their plan be? Okay, their plan would be like something like Sue would like be like hiding in the doorway, kind of like off to the side. Because I'm gonna say in this one the room is darker. There's not as much light, and Uraraka is gonna like kind of hide behind the pillars in case one of them comes in. So Bakugo and Ida are going through the floors until they finally meet each other on the floor, on the same floor, and then Bakugo asks Ida, "Have you found it?" Then he's like, "No." "Have you?" He's like, "No." So then they're all like, "Well, I guess this is the only place that it can be." So they like go room for room, looking in like slightly. And then the last room that Froppy and Uraraka is in. So then Ida just walks in, like, he walks in, he kind of looks around. He doesn't look to, like, his direct sides. And then Froppy just ties Ida up. And then Bakugo jumps in there, and then he's fighting with Sue. Like, Ida's out of this one. Let's just say. So, yeah. Then Bakugo already said that. Yeah, so him and Sue are fighting. Then he finally, like, when, like, she shot her tongue for Bakugo's legs, he swiftly grabbed it, like, kind of tied it around his wrist, like, wrapped it around his wrist, and just, like, literally flung her wall to wall, just, like, going back and forth with her until she finally got knocked out. Then he tied her up. Then Uraraka was like touching all the rocks because of his explosions he was using. She was like going around touching all of them, so like now there's like another rock wall that he has to go through, and like he kept trying to explode it, but like the rocks like kind of budge, but not really. So then like he goes up to a floor. He goes up one floor. He runs up there. And Uraraka noticed that she stopped hearing the explosion, and then she's like, "Where'd he go?" So she kind of opens, she kind of moves a rock out of the wall, peeps her head out, and see that Ida's just passed out, and Sue is like bloody. So she wants to go help Sue, but she can't because obviously they want to win. So Bakugo ups to the floor. Then he figures if he can break that concrete, if he can like already go through pillars and stuff like that, he can get in through the roof. So he saved up all his sweat. He kind of used a little bit with soup, but not that much. And then he just pulls the pin because he thought if he pulled the pin from that walk wall that Uraka made, like it would hurt her more. And because the hero aspect, you just want to catch them, I guess you could say. So he figures if the floor is a little bit more sturdier and it's not as loose as that one and it's not into bits and pieces yet, that he won't hurt her too much. So he goes up to there, pulls the pin, and then Uraka is like still over there. She's not next to the bomb. And like he's kind of in the corner of the room, if you kind of get what I'm saying. So he pulls the pin, it explodes. He goes in there. Uraka finally realizes what's going on, and she starts like trying to like do hand-to-hand combat with him. But like Bakugo took a little like some classes when he was younger. Not too many, but enough where he knows like the basics kind of. He doesn't know any fancy moves. But anyway, he was doing that, and then Deku was on the roof just looking at him. And Deku was like, in his head, he was like, why did he seem, he was just like, why does he seem familiar? Where do I know him? Do I even know him? Like, he was just questioning, but like, he also kind of brushed it off. But then, as they were fighting, in the Cam's room with Aizawa and All Might and them in there, they're commenting on their fight and stuff. And Aizawa looks at the camera because, like, there are windows in the room that the bomb is in. Like, some, not a lot. It's not as bright in there. But right now, Deku's looking through the scope of his sniper. That's what he's doing. He's also on a rooftop. He's not in a building because, let's just say, let's just say he's on the rooftop. Don't ask why he's not in a building. But then Aizawa spots him. And then as soon as he does, he yells over the intercoms for Bakugo and Uraka to get down. And then the Bakugo's like, what? We're in the middle of a fight. And Aizawa was all like, I don't give a shit. The Winter Soldier's here. And then like everyone's like, what? Like, how can he break into UA? And then, like, they stop fighting Uraka and Bakugo. They go get their teammates. Ida untied himself, and then Uraka grabbed Sue, and then Aizawa instructed them to go to a room and just like sit there and wait it out. Well, All Might and Aizawa go out and look for him. But as soon as Deku heard like them, as soon as he heard them say that they found out that he was there, he jumped down from a building and like started running across the city to get out of there, basically. Because again, he can hack into anything. That's how he got into UA. That's how he got in there. And like he already like kind of downloaded all the maps and back ways that he can use before he went there. So then he's running, and then he like, let's say he texts the guy that like usually drives him around and picks him up, and the guy that keeps him in check. He texts him and says, I was found out. And then the guy on the drive says, I'll be there. I'll be at this location. Let's say he's going to be at the back side of the city. And Deku was kind of in the middle of the city, so like he sprints that way. Then All Might and Aizawa go out looking for them. They inform Nezu. Nezu tells Cementos, Midnight, and Mike to go over there to look after the students. While let's say Mike looks after the students while the others go after Deku. So then he's running through the city, la-di-da-di-da, and he makes it out of there. They are not meeting today. I'm joking now. And he has to run past. Because he thought that the guy in the car said he would be at the front. He would go to the front gate. But no, he said he had to go back to the back gate for him to pick him up. So he's like, shit. So he flips around. He has to run back all the way over there. Which is like, let's say, like 4 miles. Wait, no, it's not too far. Let's say like 7 blocks. He has to run 7 blocks to go to the back gate. And he has to run past that building. And then Ida and Bakugo kind of notice that the building that they're in, it's kind of falling. It's starting to tremble a little bit because of Bakugo didn't realize how much sweat he has accumulated in his gauntlet. That he damaged one of the main pillars, let's say, for the building. So they're like, oh shit, we have to go. So then they all rush out of the building right before it collapses. And Deku's like, he was like running up, like he was heading for the side of the building. There's like an alleyway over there. He was heading for that. All Might and Aizawa got locked in the doors of UA. That didn't hold him back for too long because, again, he just like literally Deku commanded the doors to lock. I'm just gonna say that UA relied mostly on electronics. So he locked them in, but when first Aizawa was trying to open it, he's like, it's not opening. All Might was all like, step back. He punched the door and they ran out there. Let's say that they were like a mile or 2 away. By the way, All Might can only stay in his form for like an hour. And he already used 30 minutes of it teaching the class. So then Aizawa already knows this, and he's like, All Might, you should stay out of this fight. You should save it just in case. All Might's like, no, if I just take him down before, as soon as I see him, and if I just punch him and knock him out, it'll be over with, and then I don't have to use much of my form. And Aizawa was like, you're stupid. And then All Might's like, let's just do it. And then Aizawa just kind of agrees for it. So cut back to Deku and them. As he was running by the building, they run out. And then Bakugo and Ida realize that they just ran in with the Winter Soldier. Then as soon as Deku sees them, he immediately goes after them to knock them out and push them out of the way. Because he did. So that's what he charges towards them. Because he doesn't want anyone to know where at in the city he exactly is. The teachers just knew that he was running towards the entrance. So that's where Midnight and Cementos are waiting. Just not waiting outside. They're around in that area, like going block from block, like looking for him. So then, excuse me. Where were we? Yeah. So then, Deku goes to hit Ida, but Bakugo takes his gauntlet takes the hit for it. So his left gauntlet is ruined. It's destroyed. It's just there's a big ass dent in it. So and then he starts fighting Ida with them. And then Bakugo, and then Ida's told Bakugo to go make sure the girls are okay. Ida tells him to do that, and Bakugo's like, I'll be back. And then he blasts he puts Uraka on his back. Uraka makes them weightless, and then as like she like, kind of tugs along Sue, they like go over 2 blocks, I'll say. And Bakugo's like, "I'll be right back. Make sure that she's okay." And then Bakugo in the back said, "I wish I didn't go so hard on Froppy or whatever." And then Urako's like, "Yeah." And then he snaps out of it and he's like, "Okay, I'll see you." And then Urako's like, "No, just wait for the heroes." And he's like, "What about Ida? He's gonna get his ass beat." Urako's like, just try to get Ida out there. Don't try to fight him." And he's like, "Okay." So then he blasts back over there in a minute, and like Ida is looking bloody right now. He looks like the stain incident, but like he didn't actually stab him. He just looks like in that state. He just looks like fucked up. So then Bakugo runs over there, and then he tries to like push, like blast Deku off of Ida. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Bakugo knocks, or like not knocks, blast off Deku, off of Ida, and then like he rushes over there to pick up Ida and throw him over his shoulder, and he starts like running, like also like kind of using his like blast to like push him a little bit further. But then Deku just gets up, pulls out let's go with like a pistol, but like it's rubber bullets. It won't kill them, but it will hurt them really fucking bad. So then he just aims for Bakugo's skull with his shoulder. His right shoulder. He shoots him. Bakugo like tips over and like drops Ida. Then like he's like, "Oh fuck, that hurt." Or like let's just like let's say he screamed that. Now from the whole beginning of this, ever since Aizawa told Nezu that the Winter Soldier was there, he called in some backup. He's not gonna call Endeavor because like they already have All Might, but Nezu knows that All Might is not at his best. He's not in his prime, and he already used 30 minutes of his form, so he knew that he was gonna be weak. He called in Hawks. So Hawks came over looking for Deku, or like looking for like any like disturbance in the buildings below, and he notices Bakugo's explosions, and then he flies over there, and then just as Deku is about to punch Bakugo in the face and knock him out, Hawks flies in and kicks Deku away from Bakugo and Ida, and then Hawks tells them, "Get out of here." And then Bakugo was like, "Okay." He tries to pick up Ida again, but again his shoulder hurts. So he's taking a little bit longer than Hawks is fighting him. And Deku's holding his own against Hawks. He's better fluent in like martial arts and stuff like that. He's better at fighting. So like he's like winning right now in this fight, and the Hawks like is trying to like send his feathers to the teachers to tell them to follow the feathers. And then he grabs one of Hawk's wings, or like he jumps over Hawks real quick, grabs one of his wings and flings him on the ground. Then Hawk screams out in pain because like let's just say like from his back to where the feathers actually start, it's kind of sensitive back there. And then Deku just manhandled it, that part of his wings, like the beginning of his wings. He screams out, and then like the feathers like finally get to all the teachers, and like they're following the feathers. That's leading them towards Deku. But then they're not as fast. Like yeah, they're fast, but like again, it's a few blocks they're covering. So then he just like knocks out Hawks, and then like knocks Nox, Hawks is fading out of in and out of consciousness because he hit him with his metal arm. And then he looks over, then he sees Bakugo like a few meters away because he's like struggling along because he kind of hurt his leg whenever he fell because like Ida and him got entangled and they. So then he just pulls out his pistol again and shoots another rubber bullet. Then Bakugo's like, oh. And by the way, Deku, that night before, he was already out doing other missions and stuff, and they didn't really let him sleep too much. So again, he's tired. Like some days they let him sleep, and other days they don't. This is on days that they don't let him sleep, or they didn't let him sleep the night before. He only gets like so much sleep. Let's say he only got like 2 hours of sleep, and he still beat Hawks. So then he's like going over there, and then Bakugo just like kind of ragdolls Ida just in an alleyway, and then they start going at it, him and Deku. But Bakugo grabs a scrap of metal that was on the ground because he was using his explosions. So he like kind of blasted some things off, like to bounce off of them. So he grabs it, and it's like it's like a square sheet of metal. It's not strong. It's not too strong, but it's not like too flexible. So he grabs that, and then right as he's about to throw his punch, he like flips it up, and like Deku hits the metal. So then he pulls out a knife because like Deku's getting kind of tired of this because he's like when he's brainwashed, he'll do anything to get the mission done or to get out of there. He pulls out a knife and he's like, just end this. He's like, I'm about to kill him. He got in my way. So then, yeah. They were fighting, going back and forth. Like, if you watched Captain America with the Soldier, that was kind of how the fight was going. Like, the fight on the bridge, that's how that was going right then. And Hawks was, like trying to stand up. Because, again, if you get hit that hard with the metal, anything metal, your brain's gonna hurt. So then, as he's getting up, he's, like, struggling to stand up straight and, like, kind of balance himself out. And then, they were on top of a car, and then Deku throws another punch. But then this time, the metal sheet finally breaks, and then Bakugo goes backwards. So then, like, he lands on the ground, and Deku, like, jumps over the car and just, like, punches on the ground, but, like, Bakugo rolls out of the way just in time. Then this fighting again, sorry. They're fighting again. And then Bakugo grabs, like, half of the metal sheet, like, hits him in the head, grabs him over his shoulder, and flings him off. And that's when Deku's mask finally falls off. By the way, Deku was not as focused in this fight. Again, he only got 2 hours of sleep last night. So, it flings off. And then, like Bakugo realizes he grabbed his mask because he looks down at his hand. He's like, the mask. He looks up, and then Deku is looking away, and then he he turns towards Bakugo, and Bakugo, like, just standing there in shock. And then he just says, Deku? And then, Midoriya was all like, who the hell is Deku? And then he, like, looks away. You know that moment in the movie he looks away? Then he pulls out a gun, an actual gun with the actual bullet this time. And as he's about to pull the trigger, Hawks, like, finally stands up and balances himself and sends a feather towards him. And then he dodges. Then Deku finally runs back to the car. And then the teachers just missed them because let's just say Deku hacked the robots that they had, like the 2-pointer robots. He hacked them to like stall them to get them out of there until he finally disarmed them. And then like the teacher's like, "What's going on with the robots?" They had to fight them and stuff. It was fairly easy for them to go through, so they barely made it. And then they saw Hawks all bloody on the floor. They saw Ida bloody on the floor. They saw Bakugo was pretty beat up and he was like barely standing. But from the shock of finding out his friend was still alive. Like he thinks he's still alive. He's just like standing there still. Then Aizawa comes running over to Bakugo and he's like, "Are you okay? Are you alright?" And then Bakugo's all like, I'm I'm fine. And then Aizawa looks down, like looks at Bakugo, like takes a step back, looks at Bakugo. He's like, "No, you're not fine." Cause like his like leg is like kind of his leg gets nasty. His arm is also like puffy and red, and he has like some cuts over him from the knife. Like sometimes he couldn't dodge it. So then Aizawa texts Nezu to get Recovery Girl down here right away. Then like Nezu texts back Aizawa already on it. And as Hawks is like let's say Midnight is helping up Hawks. Hawks was all like he's strong. Cause he's like a Denki state. Like whenever Kaminari or Denki, whenever he gets stupid and uses his quirk too much, he's in that state right now. He's just like messy. He's just like, again, he's just in the dumb state. And then Midnight was like, oh. And then she like also steps back and looks at Hawks, try to get a good look. And she notices that like his wings, where it goes from his back to his wings, one of, let's say the right wing, it's like cut, not completely cut off, but it's just like, let's go with 2 inches cut. Hold on. Anywho, cliffhanger until next time.